We're producing technologies and they're going to have effects. So can we think consciously about some of the effects they may have so that perhaps we can reduce some of the harms, the potential harms, maybe on human beings or on non-human animals or to the environment? I guess any ethics approach should be about how to open lines of communication with different partners, but to also acknowledge the messiness of life and the messiness of how things are in the world, and perhaps to develop strategies about how you might address these.
So traditionally, ethics usually comes towards the end of a project when you've kind of got a technology and you want to use it with the public, and then you realise that actually there's quite a lot of ethical issues that may come with that. With an ethics by design approach, we actually, from the get-go of the project, we kind of consider these ethical values that we want to instill within the technology itself, and we take it from there, basically.
There are many different ways to approach an ethics by design practice. We're avoiding this top-down approach that somehow we're the ethics experts and we know what's right and they're the scientists. We're trying to build bridges with the scientific partners. One of the themes in ethics by design is attachment. So attachment is like a biological process that we all go through that develops from infancy, where we attach to caregivers, and that's how we maintain and build relationships with others. But if we produce these technologies, do we interfere with those attachment patterns, for example?
Ethics is about the way that we interact with people, the way we interact with humans, and the environment as well. We know that we can't make this perfect ethically sound technology, but we know that we can perhaps promote certain aspects of the technology and mitigate against some bad ethical effects that might come from it.
If you really wanted to be ethical, you wouldn't do anything at all, right? Because everything comes with a consequence. Everything does. Even when you try and do the right thing, sometimes there can be a consequence to that as well. What we're trying to do now is use a dialogical method of working with all the partners and asking them about their own practices within the project and looking at that material, and then trying through that process, trying to then develop a set of guidelines or an ethics framework that actually comes out of these collective collaborations. So we came up with the idea of good enough ethics. The analogy is really with good enough parenting. So parenting is not like a precise process. It's actually something you learn as you go. You learn it in dialogue, and it's all about imparting values to the child that you're raising so that they can become responsible human beings in their own right. So in good enough ethics, what we're really trying to do is think about building those bridges between the values and between the actual practice.
A lot of the issues that come up are new issues. A lot of the kind of values that we want to instill don't just come from the fact that we're using technology. We would have been thinking about values such as human autonomy and responsibility for time and throughout time. And so I think it's really interesting to kind of look at the ethical values that we want as society as a whole, and instill them into new technologies in new and interesting ways.